listening to these fake gurus, I think that really hurt you. I think if you really had the proper guidance or a playlist or some type of structure as you made that move from Colorado to Texas, I think you would be a lot better off. In this video, we're going to talk about the 5 deadly mistakes that this young man made with his cargo van business. Now, the reason why this is so important, and this is the first time in history in a very long time that men have a space. There's no judgment, there's no shame, none of that. This is a place that we can all learn and grow from our mistakes. And if there was a different perspective, someone in the comment section could write something, and you may not have even thought of it in a certain way, and now we have a space for men to grow and earn in this new world that we are living in this new world of commerce, and trying to prepare and position ourselves by the year 2030. So just work with me here. And again, congratulations to this young man for being vulnerable with this community and sharing with us the truth that he experienced in his marketplace and why he quit. Now, I want to ask you, is it too late for this young man? If you don't think so, if there are some things that he could have done differently, put it in the comments section. Again, this is a community or space where we can grow, learn, earn, and max out your DNA. Okay, live your life to the fullest. And we're both going to learn here. I'm doing this live. I haven't watched this video yet, so this is going to be a little something different that we're going to bring to the channel. So if you like this style, you like me doing reactions to this type of video, to get your mind right in this new world, because many people are operating in this old operating system in this new world of commerce, and we're trying to catch everybody up, okay, so we can all win. Let's begin.
Hey, today I just want to go ahead and just explain why I quit the cargo van business. There may be some people out there who are thinking about starting a cargo van business, or maybe someone who's already running a cargo van business. This may be a helpful video to you. I'm just going to share my story, how I started, that type of thing. So I'm going to just get right into it. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Daniel. I'm a young entrepreneur. I'm from Denver, Colorado. I recently just moved with my family of 5 to Dallas, Texas. My wife's...
All right, so let's give a shout out to this young man here. As you just heard, he has 5 kids. This guy is competing with Elon Musk. All right, so let's give a shout out to this guy. Also, another pointer here is this guy's pullout game is pretty weak. All right, so let's continue. And also, he pointed out that he was in Denver and now he is in Texas. Dallas, Texas, huge market.
Stay-home mom, and our kids are homeschooled, and so because of that, trying to operate a cargo van business has been difficult. And let me just explain to you guys some things that you should know about the cargo van business before you go down that road. So first, I basically can just, pretty much sum up this entire video for you with one reason. It's just not enough money. Now, because of the lane that I chose, it just wasn't enough. I was using gig apps. I had intentions of, potentially getting a contract with OnTrack. And, once I actually looked into it, which I should have did before, I really should have ran the numbers and just understood that it's just not going to be enough money, right? So once I looked into it,
First off, scarcity mindset. All right, that is a huge problem. It's not going to be enough money. We ain't trying to hear all that, sir. There is a lot of money out there. And again, what we are doing here is giving you a different perspective. You got to have an abundant mindset, just like you had an abundant mindset of repopulating Earth with 5 million kids you got. You know, again, we know you're trying to compete with Elon Musk. You got to put that same abundant mindset that you have with repopulating Earth with this crisis that we're having, and you could put that into your cargo van business. Now, he said that was strike number one. He said that is not enough money. Is it not enough money, sir? Or the apps that you were using, for example, you didn't pass out your own flyers. You had the opportunity to, well, like I said before, build a relationship in Dallas, Texas. Now let's think about Dallas, Texas. You got quite a few professional teams, money, but he just said it ain't enough money. You got quite a few community colleges and big colleges in Dallas, Texas, money. But he just said, again, his language, he put himself out of business with the language. So again, he may not have understood that these are the certain things that he should look out for. You got a huge education industry down there. You have sports and entertainment down there. You have a lot of families, suburban families. I'm pretty sure you have a huge medical industry down there. There's plenty of money in Dallas, Texas. So what he did wrong was he didn't take advantage of the apps and start building his own clientele. Now, that's the bad part of being in the cargo van business or using your car, delivering for these apps. And when you are in a huge market like Dallas, Texas, well, what happens? You have plenty of people moving to Dallas, Texas all the time. So what does that do with supply and demand? More and more people are going to get on the apps, and so therefore that's killing your earning potential to be able to provide for your children, sir. So it's not about the money. The biggest thing that I'm learning right now from you is your mindset. So the number one thing was the scarcity mindset. Number two, saying that it's not enough money. That can be combined with number one.
looked into it. She told me something about it could be like $150 to $300 per day. And that's just, I don't know. That's kind of like a broad spectrum, you know? So I realized that this is not going to be something that, you know, I could really rely on for a family of five. Because what if I go out and make only $150 for the day? That was my first thought. I pretty much would take a loss. It would almost take that much just to operate the vehicle, you know, from the payment, the insurance, especially with the insurance, the commercial insurance, that's going to be a lot. So I pretty much, once I did the math and realized that some days I wouldn't even be able to pay myself, I pretty much just stepped back from that. Now, I was continuing to drive Amazon Flex and shipped until eventually I got fired, man. You know, I wanted to make a video about that separately, but I guess it's something I could just quickly touch on because it's kind of a part. It's technically different, but I'll just go ahead and touch on it a little bit anyways. So For those of you guys who don't drive Amazon Flex or Shipped, even if you don't know what Shipped is basically Target's version of Amazon Flex, where, you can go to a warehouse, pick up packages and deliver it to customers. You get paid a certain amount per route. It's usually not very much, but the way that you can make some decent money is to just basically stack them all up. So I would do about 4 routes a day. And what that looks like is chaos, basically.
Now, here's something that I want to get out there for this individual, Mr. Millionaire McQueen, and for you all that are listening. What opportunities did he miss out on by doing the routes? And if he could do this over, like I said, is it too late for him? Could he make a comeback? Let me know in the comment section. But off the top of my head, and this is why it's so important, this is why I want to bring this perspective to everybody who is starting up. If you're a beginner in the cargo van business, or you are an experienced cargo van business owner, the things that you need to be thinking about is generating money while you may be using an app. He relied on the corporations. He relied on the gig apps in a market that's being flooded with immigration, the market that's being flooded with college students, people that's graduating. Dallas is a hot spot. You have to factor all of these things. This is why it's so important to understand business and just the game, how it all works in supply and demand. So routes that he could have, the routes that he was on with, he said Amazon Flex. What if you were building clientele while you were doing all of this stuff, sir? What if you were building clientele and then while you're doing your routes, you getting orders from your own clientele to pick up stuff, do special orders, to deliver food? Another thing, that the first thing in my mind that I saw by him having a cargo van, a cargo passenger van, not only could you have been delivering packages, you can be delivering people. You got Uber, you got Lyft. Now, while you have those platforms, you could be building up a clientele list with those people whom they trusted in you to take them out somewhere. Since you have a passenger vehicle, you can get, I don't know how many people that you can get in there. Maybe I may be wrong, but maybe 6 to 8 people. Think about that. You have the opportunity to build a relationship with those rideshare customers. If you passed out a flyer, sir, ma'am, thank you for the opportunity, as they're leaving your passenger van, you dropping them off or wherever. You got to open up your mind, just like your name, sir. Your name says Millionaire McQueen. Millionaire is already in your name, so you got it in your name, but you're speaking as if you have already been defeated. We got to kill that. Let's continue.
So you're going to have to do 4 routes all across town. For most routes, you're going to have to go back to the warehouse to pick up another one. And when you stack it up like this, because of the deadlines and things like that, and traffic, driving all the way across town, and then you have to consider they putting extra miles, and it's going to cost extra gas money and that type of thing. So by the time you do all that, just to do 4 routes a day, you can make almost $300 a day depending on your market. But it's a crazy day, man. I'm just going to tell you, because I would pretty much wake up at 3 a.m. So I would have the 3 to 6 a.m. route. Then I would go pick up 2 routes from Shipped. One was a post office route. The other one would be a large route. And then when I finish all that, I would go back up and pick up an evening route with Amazon. And one time I got fired from Shipped because I had too many lates. Basically, what that means is if you have one package on your entire route that's late, I mean, they do give you till 9 p.m. So if you deliver one package past 9 p.m., the entire route is considered late. And once you do that twice, now you're at risk. So so basically I was at risk one time, and there was a snowstorm and I was not going to be able to finish my route on time. I tried to return the route back to the warehouse, and because I was basically at risk, there was nothing that could be done. Somebody at the warehouse tried to reach out to headquarters, but you know how that goes. Basically, once you're deactivated, you're pretty much just done. And so, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I already had my wife sign up for these apps as well, just in case anything happens. So I got fired from Ship before I moved out to Dallas. And so when I moved out to Dallas, my wife had to go inside the warehouse and pick it up, and then I would be the one to deliver it, And so I was doing that for a while. Okay, with that being said, those are pretty much the main reasons why I decided that the cargo van business wasn't going to work for me. The contracts that I was able to find weren't going to pay consistent enough. I tried to look into T-Force as well, and it was kind of that same broad range. You just never exactly know what you're going to make, even when you have some type of contract. What they're looking for is they're looking for people with multiple vehicles who can run and operate a fleet and have some type of experience. They're not necessarily looking for somebody to come in and be an owner-operator and build up a fleet. And so if somebody would have just said it like that to me, maybe I would have thought about that before I went out and invested into a cargo van, because the reality of it is that
Another thing that he mentioned would be number 3, is that you're not on time. That is very, very important, whether it's with your own clientele or when you're building relationships. When you're trying to build a relationship with the gig apps clients. You got to listen. This game ain't no joke. Life isn't a joke. Business isn't a joke, especially in the very, 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 very competitive market that you're in. I don't think it had anything to do with if they wanted a fleet owner or not. I think what really hurt you, sir, is you just not being on time. That says a lot about your character, not with you, not me to you, but the corporation, the people who you were working with. That there is just we can easily replace you at that point, especially in a market where so many people are coming to, which is Dallas, Texas. And again, Dallas, Texas is a hot market. There's a lot of money in Dallas, Texas. I think that you are a victim of thinking small and not seeing the world as your oyster, and not thinking big, not thinking positive, not seeing the opportunity that are out there. The fact that you have a cargo passenger van, you could build a clientele up delivering food and packages, and you can have your own clientele delivering humans, delivering people. And this is why I wanted to bring this part of the game to YouTube, because I saw all these fake gurus. I can tell who's really in this game and who's not. And the majority, 99% of the people that I've saw, they've really hurt what the cargo van business is and what it could be. And I think a lot of people think that, well, since I have a cargo van, I am in business. Ma'am, sir, if you have a cargo van, you are not in business. Like I said before, there is a difference in being available and picking a package up and delivering it than you actually having a clientele, you having a website, you collecting data, you sending out emails, you passing out flyers, you building relationships, you sending out postcards. That is a whole nother game, because for you to be able to deliver those packages, what do you think Amazon and Target was doing? They got that data. Now that they have that data, they are sending out a morning email or notification, or afternoon or evening, hey, schedule this and whatever. They're doing the work, the business side of the game, just for you to go out and deliver. Now you have an opportunity to do the same thing that they're doing, and this is what I'm trying to bring to the game.
I went out and purchased this cargo van, and then I, eventually decided that I didn't want to do the cargo van business anymore. And so now every single month I still have to pay this cargo van. And so that's something to take into consideration.
Okay, so you got into a cargo van and you had no plan, which I don't know if you got onto YouTube and you just saw all this hype, because I see that a lot of times with people, they have a lot of hype around something, and those people are really lying. They know a lot of people don't understand the game, and so if they're first, they can build up a huge audience, and people will just go out there and be like, okay, well, since I did this one thing, the world is just gonna come to me. That's not how it works, and they took advantage of a lot of people like that. Not saying that you did that. I don't know that. You haven't explained that yet, but you can't get out here and get a product like a cargo van and not have a business plan. Again, before I got my cargo van, I started out in my car. Okay, I started out in my car and 1,000 flyers, and I built my clientele up. Okay, so if you didn't have a plan, so that's number 3. You didn't have a plan. You jumped in and just thought the world was supposed to just give you everything. Not saying that's your mentality, but you got into the game. You got 5 kids, with no plan. I don't understand. Now you still have to make a payment on that.
As well, because even if you wanted to leave, well, at least if you purchased it the way I did, I financed it, and so obviously I can't just say, hey, you know what, I don't want this anymore. Can I just, give it back? I did try to trade it in. I was unsuccessful because I'm too much upside down on this cargo van, and so there's really not a way for me to get out of it right now. Maybe I could pay it off for a while and then try again later when I have more equity in the vehicle. But since I just purchased it in November, there wasn't any way for me to trade it out, so that's just the reality of it. And, that's something, this is exactly why I'm making this video, because, just hold your horses, make sure that you have work before you go get the cargo van, just be smart about it,
Great point. Make sure you have work before you do the cargo van. And also on top of that, you got to have an established brand. Okay? If you don't have an established brand, build your brand. And that's what the gig apps give you an opportunity to do. All right. But on top of that, in between those orders, or why you made that big investment, because you made the investment of actually getting a cargo van. Now, let's go back to you being in a hot city. All right. A hot city to where if you had, let's say, 1,000 flyers, you can't go to the hospital and pass them and ask a nurse, hey, you mind about sit these out here, or could you put these in your break room, break off $5? You can't go on the college campus or downtown where a lot of people go and, pass out flyers in between orders on the weekends. There's opportunity out there, sir. The game ain't over until you say that it's over. So I'm not talking at you. I'm trying to help you and other future people whom are out there who wants to start up or in the business and may not understand that life is, this business, this game isn't no joke. But if you aren't putting in the work, you are putting yourself out of business, sir. So you have to get out here and grind it out as well, instead of just depending on the apps, because the apps' best interest is their best interest, not yours.
I wouldn't say go buy a cargo van just to go do gig apps. Maybe there's other gig apps that you can use, Roadie. I don't know all the gig apps. I'm not the gig app expert. I'm just saying I know there's probably people making more money than me or more money than $300 per day using gig apps. But I'm not going to be the one to promote gig apps anymore, because obviously if you're just the type of person who just doesn't like to work a job for whatever reason, then obviously gig apps is a perfect way for you to just basically have your own like job, quote unquote, because it's not technically a job. You technically probably get paid less than most minimum wage employees, and you don't have any benefits and different things like that. But I am the type of person who understands that if you don't want to work for somebody, then you're just not going to work for somebody. So gig apps are perfect in that case, and it's like a way that you can technically, quote unquote, start your own business. I'm just going to put that in quotations though, because it's technically not a business. I mean, you can operate it as a business. Technically, from a legal perspective, you can run and operate it.
Okay, so I'm happy that I'm not the only one that caught this. There's a commenter in his comment section that said, you was not in the cargo van business. So I don't feel bad about saying like, hey, if you have a cargo van and you don't have your own clientele, you're not really in business. You just have a cargo van and you're available. And this individual said that, see, you had me confused. That's why I've been writing a book in your comments. You was just running apps. Well, that's how I started. I still run them when I'm not on the road. I need it all. My man, I have a wife and 6 kids. Do not give up on what you started. All you need to do is change your mind and hustle smarter. I agree. He hit the nail right on the head, sir.
Operate a gig app through an LLC, and you can establish business credit, and you can like technically operate it as a business. But what most people do is most people just think that now they're their own boss and that everything is cool, and yeah, I'm making all this money, but some people don't actually calculate the cost, and a lot of people don't operate it as a business. And ultimately, the one thing you should know, I know not every business has employees, but you can never have employees, unless you were, there's really no way to do it. I don't.
Negativity, 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 negativity. That's all I hear. Negative, negative, negative. I really think that this gentleman was taken advantage of by the apps, and not the apps, the fake gurus, the people who are putting business with cargo van. If you do not have a real business, you need to take business out of the cargo van business. I'm not talking to the millionaire McQueen guy, but I think he was just heavily taken advantage of by all of these fake gurus, and people jumped into it just by getting a cargo van and thinking, okay, I am in business now. Sir, ma'am, everybody that's out there listening, you are not in business if you do not have your own clientele. Period. You do not have a business if you are not marketing and advertising your services. If you have a cargo van, you don't have a business, you are literally just a gig app worker. And with a cargo van, you have a large vehicle. Okay? So the flip side of that is you can build a business off of that. And another thing that I would like to add to this gentleman's list of opportunities that he missed out on is the fact that airports, you can do airport runs, man. The fact that you have a passenger van, you can make a killing, dude. So
I don't know. I used to see Hispanic people at the warehouses, at the shipped warehouses, and I would be waiting at the gas station across from the warehouse because I'll have to pick up multiple routes, and so I'll have to wait in the parking lot. And a lot of the people who would be driving routes for them as well, working for ship, whatever, other ship drivers, they would be in the parking lot, and I would see them go into the warehouse, pick up a route, come back out, load it into another vehicle. That other vehicle would leave. They would go back in there and pick up a route. Now, do I know what they were doing? No, I don't really care. Because obviously I was driving under somebody's account too. I don't care. I'm not a snitch or nothing like that. All I was saying is that
driving under somebody else's account. I mean, again, man, you have again, your biggest thing that I'm learning so far, and huge shout out to the AMA knowledge, your mindset, your mind. You worried about, you know, expanding. You worried about everybody else but your business. Your business. And then why you got the mentality of a scammer? Why you stealing whatever? I just saw an article about that not that long ago. I didn't even know people could do that type of stuff. So again, I'm being lenient due to the fact that I know you were taken advantage of by these fake gurus out here, because I've seen so many people out here advertising this stuff, and they'll be standing next to a cargo van, and I can just tell this individual is not really in business. But you can take advantage of people due to the fact that a lot of people, they have a get rich quick mentality. All right, so is the cargo van business dead, or are you and your mentality is what's hurting you? I think it has a lot to do with you. You are responsible for your life. You are responsible for the choices and decisions that you made just by having the fake account, not showing up. You ruining your own reputation, and you haven't even gotten business yet. So it's not the business. I think a lot of stuff has to do with you, and you are going to have to fix you first before you can get out here and dominate, or even just compete. I don't even think you're up there to where you can dominate a territory. You just need to be in a position to where you need to be an option and to compete. And the one thing that I can tell you right now is your mentality, how you think. You got it. Whatever that is, you gotta kill it. Kill that bitch assness. Kill that weak shit. Kill it. Because what's going to end up happening to you, what is already happening to you, you're just getting priced out. You're going to be priced out of America. You're probably going to be, not you, but people like you may be out there, all those people out there rioting or, angry and on the internet talking about life isn't fair and all that stuff. It's just, y'all just getting priced out. That's just what it is.
Is that I've seen some people that maybe, I don't know, but I wouldn't consider that employee, That's just, I don't know how to explain that one, So who knows what they were doing? It's really none of my business, but that's the only time I might have seen somebody who thought they were having employees, But anyways, that's technically not an employee. There's no way to have an employee as a gig app, whatever. And so I think that's what Mark is always trying to say, obviously. And I understand that. I don't think that he understands what I was saying is that I wasn't trying to operate a gig app as like a business where you can go and hire employees and you can scale. That's obvious,
You were operating as a business by being a gig app worker. See, what a lot of people are afraid of is building that clientele. Okay, let me tell y'all something. If they own that customer, if they own that relationship with a customer, you're going to get crumbs. Okay? So therefore, you can't build a business. You can't scale on that. The only thing that you can do is build a relationship. So again, I'm not going to go too hard on you to the fact that I know I see so much, all these people out here who are trying to get people to do these get rich quick schemes, and one of them is box truck and the cargo van. And these people are not business owners. They ain't got lawyers. They don't have real business insurance. They don't. The language that they use, I can tell. And I've talked to quite a few people who are seeing the same thing. And these guys are fake, man. They all fake. So that's why I'm being lenient, and I'm trying to tell you, you got to get out of this mentality and this mindset that you have, and see the gig apps as an opportunity to build a relationship. But you can't depend on that. You still got to get out here and hustle. See, I was doing this before the gig apps came to my marketplace. I was the first one in my marketplace to actually build a business doing delivery. That was me. So I know what the game is. And a lot of people, especially today, they don't want to get out here and hustle. I wasn't afraid of people judging me, passing out flyers at the people at the bars or the clubs, or going to the restaurants, all the hotels. I making phone calls, sending emails, getting rejected, because I'm building a real business. So I know who's really in this game and who ain't in this game. And there's a lot of fakes out there. So again, for the people who are listening and who are following this route of being a gig worker and they have a cargo van, I'm telling you, stop. If you want to keep going, build relationships in between your deliveries, pass out flyers, okay? You got to have a plan. What can you do? Who can you serve? What is your target audience? Do you want to serve working professionals, suburban moms, working dads? Do you want to serve college students only? Do you want to serve everybody? You got to know what you are doing, because this is business. And so now you are allowing the gig apps to do all of this stuff. So they're going to give you crumbs. Because you know, like, you got to do what you got to do to get out here to survive. Or like I said, you just gonna get priced out of America, start complaining, start marching, and then all these other different type of victim cards just gonna start coming out. No, people just lazy. All right, people is more. People want to be comfortable, and they don't want to get uncomfortable. My life is filled with just being I wake up looking to be uncomfortable, because that's how I survive. Okay, that's the real world. That's the real game. And so that's why I'm trying to change the narrative, so you all can see the difference between a real boss and these fake gurus out here who's just taking advantage because they're first. We're gonna change that.
You can't hire employees. Like, you know, I understand that, but technically you can operate it as a business. You can carry yourself professional, and you can make sure that your numbers line up and whatever else. I mean, but ultimately there's no way to scale it, and you're limited to your time. And so it's technically a job where you're getting paid less than you would with minimum wage, and you're putting wear and tear in your vehicle and all these different types of things. And it's all because of an illusion that you're not working for somebody else, when in reality, you're technically working with the people that you're.
Now, what he is saying, it is true for the people who aren't in business. If you are a gig worker and you know you bought into this whole be your own boss, you a joke. How you gonna be your own boss, but you working for me? I say, when you can, okay, you get this delivery, but you working for me. That's my brand. That's my name. That's me. So he is right. That's a good thing that he's failed really hard, and he's seeing that, yo, I got tricked, I got played. But now how you gonna bounce back from that? See this as an opportunity. This is not a loss, sir, Mr. Millionaire McQueen. This is a great opportunity for you to see what you did wrong and how you could do better the next time. All right? By, like I said, creating flyers, having business cards, like your appearance, you know, being confident within yourself when you are out promoting yourself. Sir, ma'am, like I said, still mine, man. Every time I do a delivery, or if it's a new person or whatever, somebody I haven't met, hey, thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity. Even if this person isn't doing business with me, what the hell you think? They gonna look because people are just curious, or they gonna throw it away. But this is about you building habits, because it really is a numbers game in the marketplace. So you got to build habits. So again, I am proud of you to that point to where you do see that, that part of the game is a scam. All right. So you can look at it as an opportunity to get customers though, while still building on the side, while being posted up at the airport, putting a little bumper, a sticker, and getting a car topper for your cargo passenger van, and doing the numbers to where you can make a profit, sir. And you can build up your own clientele list. This is why we have to stop all these fake gurus, these people out here putting business with the cargo van, so we won't have people like Mr. Millionaire McQueen. Because think about it, for him to get out, Mr. Millionaire McQueen, to get out here, he got to be a little crazy. He got to be a little insane to go out here and get his own cargo van. And he's still paying on it. And you know what? To survive in this game, to dominate in this game, you got to be crazy. So I do applaud him for making that commitment, but it was how he did it. He didn't know. And that's why we're going to change it.
People that you're contracting with, whether it's Amazon, Flex, Uber, whatever, so you're technically not an employee and nobody's gonna, get on your nerves. I don't know. Well, I can't say that because there's still gonna be people who get on your nerves. That's just the reality. But nobody's gonna be trying to tell you what to do. But I mean, if you don't adhere to certain rules and guidelines or whatever, and obviously you get deactivated, and that's something that can hinder your success, because now you just lost the app, you just lost the access to the app. And so, to have all that control under somebody else, that's obviously not a smart thing to do. And so I'm saying all this to say that at a certain point I realized I wasn't going to be making enough money. And I think actually Mark just reposted this video that I'm going to talk about right quick. He reposted an interview for probably about 2-3 months ago or whatever. It was when I was going through like a very critical time out here in Dallas. I had just, got here. Basically, we crash landed here, depending on, I've never moved a whole family to another state before, I have moved out of state a couple times or whatever, but it was different. So this time, we're having to move everything. We have to bring a cargo van, a car, we have a freaking U-Haul. So this was, in my opinion, it was like a crash landing, man. And it was like, it barely had enough just to get here, And I'm saying this, obviously it's going to sound irresponsible.
The fact that you took a risk and you making moves, that says a lot about you, Millionaire McQueen. You just got to tweak a few things out, man. I don't think it's too late for you. We'll keep going a little more to see if he's going to give us some more. But I really think you still have a huge opportunity. I think you just got to change your mindset, man. But if you got that drive, you got the balls to move from Colorado to Texas and make that type of move and say, hey, we're going to start over and we're going to do what we need to do. I think that you can turn this around.
Sound irresponsible what I'm saying, but I really just believed that everything would be okay. And so I got out here and I was doing the gig apps and stuff, and I realized that it just wasn't going to be enough money. And so I started to brainstorm and think of things that I could do. And I had some experience in the past. My mom had worked for a nonprofit in Denver. It was like, it was working with African people. And so they asked, basically my mom told them that I had, I could film videos and stuff like that. And so they asked me to film some videos, and I basically had to go to all these small businesses and pretty much like showcase their business, pretty much ask them how they got started, what type of products they sell, whatever, and do it all in like under a 2-minute video. And I made about like 20 of these videos, right? And so because of that experience that I had in the past, I started to brainstorm. And at the time I was still making videos on YouTube, even though I took a 2-month break recently. But at the time I was posting. So I was like, how can I leverage what I already know? And I already have experience working with businesses in the past. And, you know, in the past, like I said, my mom was working for a nonprofit. And because I was an entrepreneur and I told her, like, why are you working for these people? Whatever, like, you should be your own boss. She ultimately one day, this was about 3 years ago, she started her own nonprofit. Well, she was the founder and now she's the executive director of the nonprofit.
All right, so we're gonna leave that there. I don't think it's too late, but I do thank you for your transparency, for you to start this conversation for people who are looking into the game or in the game, and they may feel like something isn't right, or they're trying to figure what's going on. And this conversation that you have started is really going to, you know, allow the marketplace to decide, okay, who's real and who's not, who's really in business and who is not in business. So again, I thank you for your vulnerability, your transparency. I hope you don't get mad by us sharing this. And again, I am about the growth of this community, us learning, us sharing, us becoming and taking this thing to a whole nother level and really being about business. That is the biggest part. And actually taking this section of the universe in really making it a business for many people throughout the entire marketplace across, you know, from the East Coast to West Coast, South, up North. You know, there are plenty of opportunities out there. And as you were speaking about, you know, you especially in your market, you got all these people constantly coming in, new graduates, immigrants, all of these different types of things. And, you know, the only thing that's going to save you is being an entrepreneur. And you have to build your own clientele. That is it. If you do not build your own clientele, sir, and anybody else that's out there listening, I'm telling you right now from experience, you're done. All right, so let's go down the list of the deadly sins that he made that put himself out of business. But the only thing that's saving him is his mind, and he has to keep changing it. And it's going to be a process, and that's what we are here for. This is what this community is here for. So number one, scarcity mindset. All right, saying that there's no money in Dallas, Texas. There's plenty of money in Dallas, Texas, sir. Again, I just told you about all those different sectors: the medical industry, sports and entertainment, colleges and education, the nightlife. Plenty of money out there. You're just going to have to put yourself out there, promote yourself, and get that clientele by having a website. I have a Shopify. Okay, my business is online, but I use Shopify. So when I give them a flyer, they'll scan my QR code or they'll Google me or whatever, click on my link. Now they come to me, have a pop-up. I get their email address. They get a discount off their order. Boom, I'm building that relationship. So the same thing for you. So number two, like I just said, you're not building a clientele list. That is a huge, deadly no. Okay, so if you have a cargo van, you got a passenger van, dude. You can deliver humans. You can deliver humans and do packages in between. Okay, so use Uber or Lyft or some other rideshare service and build clientele off of them. All right, so the fact that you took that risk and you figuring things out, things are coming together for you. You just gotta, piece by piece, man, keep going. Number three, no plan. You can't, get on the internet or, and see, okay, this seems like an opportunity, let me jump on this and just do it. That's fine, but you need to have a plan. All right, you need to have a plan. You need to be able to see, who do you want to serve, how do you serve. I mean, look at your competitors. You got Uber, you got Lyft, and all these other gig apps. You're no different than them. They're just promoting their service. They're literally just promoting their service, and they're using you. So why you can't do what they do? Why you can't use them? All right. So number 4, you're not advertising your brand and services. Again, you need to establish a brand. You can. I'm gonna have to find out what was that website that I used to create my brand. But you can there's many tools out there where you can create a brand, and you need to start promoting it, advertising your services. You can do food delivery with your cargo van, you can do catering with your cargo van, and you can do group ride share with your cargo passenger van to the airport, to the club, to the hospital, dude. There's opportunity out there. All right. Number 5, you said that you were not on time. You are destroying your reputation. All right. You gotta be that guy that, hey, when somebody speak of Millionaire McQueen, oh, that dude, that man, he a bad dude. He be on it, man. When he say this, he's gonna do this. Your reputation is everything in this game, especially is your personal, who you are personally, and your brand. Okay, you want people to be able to, depend on you. Okay, all right. And so number 6, your pullout game is weak, sir. You should not be able to have 5 kids and be out here and not be dominating your territory in Texas. You got 5 kids to feed. You should be out here just tearing the streets up. Okay, so I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I'm just trying to, inform you that your hustle and drive should be much harder. Like that guy, that commenter, that AMA Knowledge, he said, man, I got 6 kids. I want it all. So you competing against somebody like that, you putting yourself out of business. You hurting your family. You hurting you and your future. You putting yourself in a position to be priced out. You're going to be unemployed with a cargo van that's still they got a note and it has to be paid. When you got opportunities out here, you may just you may not know. And that's what I'm getting from you. You just don't know, and you don't know what you don't know. But now, since you know, I'm putting this out there for you, man to man, for you to get out there and just get a piece of that market share in Dallas. Because I'm telling you, the opportunity is out there. If you're willing to take a risk to go from Colorado to Texas, I know that it's not going to take you anything to get out there, print you out some flyers, and start passing them out. All right. And another deadly sin that has hurt this individual is listening to these fake gurus. I think that really, really hurt you. I think if you really had the proper guidance or a playlist or some type of structure as you made that move from Colorado to Texas, I think you would be a lot better off than you are. So that is one that I would say that's going to be number 1. I know I went down a list or whatever, but the camera got hot again. So we're going to go over that list again. So number 1, scarcity mindset. Number 2, not building a clientele list. No plan for number 3. Number 4, not advertising your brand and services. Number 5, you're not on time. You got to change that. Number 6, we talked about, I'm just joking with you. Your pullout game is weak and you got 5 kids. You can't be out here. You got to be a monster. Okay. And number 7, which is the most important one, I think that really hurt you, was listening to fake gurus on the internet. I think that if you listen to someone else, if there was an option, I think you would be in a better position. I know it. Just the fact how you went off and you started to put things together, I know you would be in a better position. And another thing that I would like to add to this video, this is for fair use. Again, this is for all of us to grow. If I was in his position, I would want this same thing before I made a huge jump like that with my family and making a huge purchase like what he did. So again, this is for fair use, for learning and growing. And this is not a diss to Mr. Millionaire McQueen. This is just the truth, and this is just something that if I was in this situation, I would want the same thing. As some of you all know, like how I dealt with a dealership where I bought my cargo van, and I went through 2 years of hell and lost over $100,000. Now, if there was a someone there to help me understand what I was going through and just say, hey, you know, you should have gotten a van, or you should deal with someone who specializes in this, man, I'd be up 100,000 right now. So again, this is not a diss. This is just the truth. This is something that I hope that you will sleep on, and you will grind on, and you will start to see it. I'm just trying to open your eyes up. That's all. I'm just trying to open your ears up. I'm trying to open your brain up. I'm trying to help you like AMA Knowledge did in that comment, where your mindset, because you got that dog in you. You just gotta tweak that mindset. All right. So thank you again for putting this out there. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share this out in the world, so we could help other people that may be thinking just like you to get into the cargo van, and think when they get a cargo van that they're really in business when they're really not in business. And you can't depend on these gig apps. Help build your own. Build your own. Have your own ownership. Build your own clientele list. All right? So thank you again for the opportunity. That is all that I have for you all. If you got any comments or whatever, put them in the comment section. And I hope, Mr. McQueen, I hope that, you know, you see this as an open space where we as men can talk and discuss and learn and grow together. I wish you all the success. And again, I'm really, really hopeful. And I really believe that you could turn this around. I know it's not too late. The little that you told me, it ain't too late. Keep going.